Hello again. I'm sure that we all know what asylum means. It means shelter and safety. In the context of asylum in Britain, it means that the victims of persecution or war will be offered a chance to live free from fear. Nobody will torture them or attack them. They can simply live in peace. This is what is meant by asylum, and whether we think the system fair or if we think it needs overhauling, that is the current situation. People, predominantly young men, cross the English Channel in small boats because they say that they are seeking safety in our country. In the last week, almost 600 more asylum seekers arrived after crossing the Channel in small boats. I give a link in the description to this video to the Ministry of Defence website which provides this information. In the former RAF base of Wethersfield in Essex, 600 young men are at this moment being provided with shelter in safety. They have accommodation, they get 3 meals a day, there is a GP on site, they have a fully equipped gymnasium, television, internet access, and none of it costs them a penny. They have been given asylum. You might think that these supposed victims of war, starvation and persecution would be, if not grateful, then at least content to find that they now have a safe haven. So they would be, of course, if they had genuinely been fleeing in fear of their lives and had now found themselves safe and cared for. As it is, they are angry and discontented. There have been hunger strikes and suicide attempts, and it's claimed that the place is like a prison. This is very odd because all those living there are free to come and go as they please and walk out of the place at any time. In what way does this resemble a prison, you ask? In the description to this video, I give a link to an article in The Guardian, in which we can read the complaints being made by the asylum seekers living there. We learn that a torture survivor who has been in Wethersfield for more than 4 months told charity workers, "This place is like a prison. Our freedom is limited here. We can only leave using the buses. There are regular fights, and because of that I stay in my room most of the time. It's not true that they can only leave by bus. The gates of that RAF base are wide open. The men living there can walk out at any time and explore the countryside, which is, by the way, very, very beautiful around there. A 4-mile walk would take them to Finchingfield, which is generally reckoned to be the most beautiful village in England. You can see Finchingfield in the thumbnail to this video. 4-mile walk from where they are. A lot of people go there just to look at it because it's so lovely. I often walk in the Essex countryside and I simply cannot see what the problem is. I like country walks. Yesterday I walked to Epping and back from here, which is 8 miles in total. If I can do it, I'm sure those youngsters could manage it. Do them good to get some fresh air. I'm, of course, sorry they are fighting each other, but it's hardly our fault that they are aggressive and violent. A charity reporting on conditions there says that Wethersfield's remote location is driving increased tensions among residents. Some have reported the formation of gangs and fights breaking out, causing some asylum seekers to confine themselves to their rooms because of safety fears. So they have sought peace and safety in England, and after they've been given free board and lodging in a marvellous part of the countryside, they've been forming gangs and fighting each other. I see. How about this? A man once detained by a militia in Libya described being re-traumatised in Wethersfield, adding, "I am treated like a subhuman. I feel depressed and my mental health isn't in the right place. I expected to get basic human rights in the UK, and unfortunately I have none. Well, what basic human rights do you suppose he is being denied? Certainly not the right to live free from fear of persecution, or the right to be housed and fed, the right to practice his religion. I'm not sure what human rights he hasn't got. I rather suspect that he is talking more of the right to live in a five-star hotel, or the right to a council house in London, or perhaps the right to a mobile telephone. You see, the chief complaint of these people is that they are living in the countryside rather than in a big city. They don't like the English countryside, you see. It's boring and there's nothing to do there. To sum up the case, these people have sought asylum in this country and been given it. They are living in a quiet and peaceful location with plenty of fresh air and pleasant walks nearby leading to pretty villages. They have their own doctor and are provided with cooked meals. None of this costs them a penny, and of course we, the taxpayers, foot the bill. And all they can think of doing is forming gangs and fighting each other. I'm not at all sure I would like to be living next door to some of these characters. The ones who are not fighting are accusing us, depriving them of their human rights. What a shower!